Hey everyone, Crash and Crash Customs, Lake Havasu, Arizona. I am in the final steps of getting the rear end swapped on my dually so I can finish putting on 24-inch semi wheels. Front is done. C20 rear end is in. Comparison of some big rear ends. C20, that's big. C30, even bigger. And really, what's wrong with you if you don't like a big rear end, you know? So, quick side-by-side comparison. Shock mounts. Different location, which is fine because on that C20 rear end over there, that one broke off. So that has to be re-welded anyways. Put those in the right position. I want to wait till that is on the truck to do that. Also, they're close, but they ain't in the same spot. Spring perch mounts, inch different from side to side, so 2 inches overall. That will have to be cut off and relocated inboard just a little bit. Also, quick measurement from center of the axle to where the drive shaft goes. That's roughly an inch difference. Shorter distance on the C20. So what I'm hoping for is, since my dually is lowered, which changes the drive shaft position, actually the shorter distance here, I'm hoping will compensate for the truck being lowered, which when you lower a vehicle, it like pushes the drive shaft forward basically. So I'm hoping I don't have to have a drive shaft made, because these measurements here, here, compared to this, my drive shaft will bolt into that. The U joints, universal joints, should be fine. Obviously, I already mentioned brake cables have to be, I'm hoping the brake cables can be just swapped out, although the mounting is different. There's a push-in clip here. This is bolt-in style. I'm hoping I can just take these drums off and disconnect the brake cables and swap them out. That's what I'm hoping for. But, I'd be surprised if that works out. Also, the studs on the C20 they're longer, same diameter, but they're longer. So I'm going to have to get my 8-lug to 10-lug adapters and see if I need to press these out, swap them with those, or if those will be fine. I'm not sure about that. Also, I never checked gear ratios. It really doesn't matter to me because that's going in no matter what that gear ratio is. And that wasn't like I know that wasn't a 411 gear ratio because it's just the stock 3-speed transmission. But I'm going to check that also just out of curiosity to see if my speedometer is going to be off or not. It's going to be off a little bit because the 24-inch wheel tire combo is just a little bit taller than what I'm currently running overall height. I have the brackets cut off, axle cleaned up. The shock brackets are different from the C30, and one was broken off, so that was easy to take off. And the spring perch mounts are slightly different in location from the C30 to the C20. But if you're cutting these off, if you look here, it's got a pretty heavy duty weld on there. If you're cutting them off and you think you got them off and they're not coming off, they're actually rounded on the sides and the front. So you gotta cut into it, right? Just a little bit to get them off. I blasted them, cleaned them up. So this is almost ready to install. I have to redo the gasket there. That was weeping a little bit. Now's the time to do it while it's out. I'm also cleaning up the wheels that are going on it, the 24s. If you remember, I pulled these out of a junkyard, and they were in the junkyard for a reason. They were pretty beat up. All I did was pay for like scrap weight on them, and I knew I was gonna have to clean them up. That's one that hasn't had anything done to it, and you can tell they were beat. So I DA'd this one to about 320 with the DA, and you can see it's got like a orbital sand pattern to it. This one I've sanded by hand with 400, and I'm just trying to make the polish part super easy and hopefully get a lot of the imperfections out of the wheel. But man, I like this 400 finish. Back in the day, we called it brushed aluminum. That was a killer look on a lot of the modified muscle cars back in the day. I really do like that. I am gonna hit it with the polisher, and if I don't like the polish or it don't turn out right, I'm probably gonna go back to the 400 pattern here. It looks really good. The casting, I don't know if it'll show up here, but it's pitted. I don't know if that's just from the casting or years of driving it in snow and salt has pitted it, but it's really not sanding out. So if it's too noticeable when it's shiny, I'll probably go back to this look, because there really ain't much chrome or polish on the truck. So this finish would still be a viable option, and I dig it. Of getting the rear end back in. U-bolts are in with the brackets bolted in pretty tight, and you can tell this magic marker line, Sharpie line, was where this bracket was before. So got lucky with that. That's pretty close to where it is. It is going to be close enough to drive it 30-40 feet onto the hoist and put a gauge on the rear end to the transmission, make sure the pinion angle is correct. I obviously still have more to bolt in, but man, that motorcycle jack, I've used that motorcycle jack more for non-motorcycle stuff than I ever have for a motorcycle. It worked great. Worked real good. I've used it before for putting rear ends in and like transmissions. If I'm doing transmission on the ground like this, it works real good for that too. Well, putting the C20 rear end in went very well, which, you know, something ain't gonna go right. And here we are. I slid the adapters on tempted to slide the adapters on. Look at the back side here. It's not going to seat up properly. Right here, this lip, that lip right there is bigger than a C30. So my new plan is to take this off, separate this from the drum, pop these studs, and have my buddy machine this down. And good news is now I'm forced to check the brakes, which I wasn't going to. I was just going to let it ride, see how it goes. But here we are. More disassembly. Got the hubs back from my buddy Bill. Bill's Custom Engines. Check him out in Havasu. He's busy. He's got a waiting list. So if you need something, get on it. Hardly had to machine anything off that to get the adapters to fit. But it was just enough that that was hanging up. So I got new bearings, seals. Going to take these pieces and put them in the parts washer, clean them up real quick, and put new bearings in it and try to move forward on this. Bearings are in, seals are in, new studs. The C20 studs are not as long as the C30 studs, and with the adapters on with the C20 studs, I just felt like the studs weren't long enough. I put C30 studs in, hammering them in as far as I could get them, and then put them on my Harbor Freight press. Let me show you how I got this set up. This whole piece with the jack and the pin all go down at the same time. So I got this sitting on a big chunk of wood. It's obviously offset, so with my spacer that I cut, if you push this down, it's gonna, right, tilt it. So another spacer right here to balance it. Works great. Let me show you. Axles are back together with the adapters on. I just got 4 lugs on holding it because I'm still test fitting. And inner wheel, it's not on. The inner wheel's not on. You can tell it's not on. So next problem is my exhaust system hits, and even when I clear that, the backside of the tire wheel is going to hit the wheel well. It's not surprising. It hopefully should unbolt easy and I can cut the bed floor. And the next unplanned scenario, getting the other inner rear ready, and it was empty, no air in it. And yeah, that's disappointing. I'm gonna have to take that to the wheel tire shop. Nothing can just go easy. Man, it's always something. Ordered new lug nuts, go with the new studs, and I didn't have lugs like acorn lugs before. I had cool bullet shaped lugs for the Alcoas, and a whole box, right? Boom. 1 inch. What? 1. One out of the whole box. Wrong. You gotta check everything. Everything. Nothing that's unsurmountable, just annoying. Saturday. Finally get to work on my stuff. Still plugging away. Well, plugging away on this, but still plugging away on the dually. Cut the exhaust. I'll figure out how to reroute that once the wheels and tires are in, but I have clearance all the way to the leaf spring with the exhaust. All the bolts are out of the wheel tub, the stock wheel tub, but this is gonna force me to clean out the back of the bed here. This is my work truck, and I just throw stuff in here and use it. I don't care. I'm gonna have to break whatever bead of glue that is from the factory along the edges. I'm sure there's some underneath the carpet here and rubber mat that's underneath that. But obviously, first, I gotta get all this garbage out. It needs to happen. It needs to happen anyways. I don't maintain it like I should, but I wanna get after it. It's a mess, it's a mess. Check this out though. Super rare GM factory bed mat. Yeah, and I'm gonna cut that to fit the new tubs. I don't know if it's super rare or not, but check out what else. I don't remember that, but it's probably for the best. It's probably for the best. She's all cleaned out, and just look at that untouched bed floor. Not even one ding or dent in the floor or the wheel tubs. Obviously some scratches. That's original white paint from 1986. Oh man, it's almost a shame to cut up such a beautiful floor. It's the perfect floor to cut up in my book. Why cut up junk? It's more work. I'm gonna probably measure this once and cut twice. You know how it goes. I still gotta break that bead loose, but come on, let's do it. All right, my cut line is drawn. My plan, obviously cut this line, and then I will cut here, and this lip with the holes for the wheel tub will be welded back on at this cut line. The outside edge of the leaf spring is probably about here, so I'm maxing it out. I'm not thinking about like the inside of what my actual wheels are. It'll probably end up being about here, but I might as well max it out. Who knows what the future holds for even bigger steamrollers back here. Nah, it's just the ribs of the bed, right? It'll flow, and when it's all done, it'll probably look like I never even did it. Yeah, I mean, a C10 guy will notice that the wheel tubs are a little deeper, but let's cut it. Bed floor is cut. Not too bad. Cut into the braces underneath a little bit, but that does not matter because the brace from wheel well to wheel well is... What? Yeah. the two new wheels are bolted on the passenger side. I had to. I mean, that's the next step, right? But seeing if I measured correctly, that's the next thing on my mind. I mean, it feels like I did. When I measured side to side before I installed it, I figured there'd be a 1/4 inch of gap between the outside of the tire and the inside of the fender lip. So do I look nervous? Let's tuck it up in there. Quarter inch. Nice. I am happy about that. Woo. Oh yeah. Man, that's the look I wanted. Big, huge, shiny 24s with rubber bands. 275, 30, 24s. Oh. That is motivating, and I like exactly how it sits. That's where I wanted ride height to be, halfway through the sidewall. That's that is where I want the front to sit when it's at ride height. This is aired out, but ride height halfway through the sidewall, and I can do full turn side to side. Oh man. This is it. This is motivating. Get the wheels and tires on this side, and I'll be able to move this thing back into the shop, do some welding inside instead of out here in the wind. All right, let me show you the easy way, or easier way. Piece I cut out, right? The easy way would be to just lay this down and do your cut line, you know, so it's butted up against the bed floor that has not been cut. That'd be the easy way of doing it. Look at that. Even the point of the bed floor that was over here would flow pretty nice. I don't need to go that deep. As you can see, the leaf spring is right there. Probably an inch difference between the edge of the bed floor and the edge of the leaf spring. That's the easy way, or easier way. But typical me, I gotta make it more difficult. This is the piece that I just cut off of the filler piece, and I do use the bed of the truck, and I suppose another 2 inches of space between the tubs might not matter, but man, what if it did? What if it did matter? So this is what I got going on. This is cut. I'm going to raise this corner here to match the bed rail, and now this is flush with the leaf spring. So I gain probably 2.5 inches of space between the tubs if I just want to slide something in the bed here. More work? I don't know. It's not that much more work. Lip is almost fully welded in. A little bit more to do on that, but obviously the wheel tubs are gonna have to be widened. And I know I got another pair from a parts truck that I had probably 18 years ago, and I kept them. They're up in the loft. Let's check. Here they are, my extras. Oh man, what? Oh, I got some. I got halves. There's the full, right there. Extra dually fender, right? I forgot. Oh, this is good. I forgot I had these halves. Nice. So that's obviously the lip that bolts on. I can just cut this to fit, do one weld across, keep going. Rolling on her own power. All 6 wheels are on. Fronts still need to be polished. I am a long ways away still from actually putting it on the street, but I don't have to work on it outside right now. One spot open inside, so I can keep welding on the bed floor and not have to deal with the wind pushing the gas from the welder in the wrong direction. But check that. Get back in the sun. It's easier to see it in the sun, right? That's the look I wanted right there. Big giant 24s. All right, finish moving it into the shop. Keep welding, grinding on the bed floor. She dirty, really dirty from sitting outside. Gonna need a full detail by me. Passenger side pretty much done. You can see here how this is shaped to meet the curve of the opening. Really like how that came out. Something nobody is ever going to see because I'm putting in a big mat and using the bed as a work truck. Got a hammer and dolly the driver's side now. You can see a little bit there, a left from me cutting it out from the factory. And you can see what I did. Driver's side piece welded in. There's just a few little spots I want to hit again with the welder, but I can do that when these filler pieces get welded in, because when this was cut and moved back, this is how much it moved back. And I want that lip in there. I want that lip in there, and this raised area, little slice here, tap it down so it matches these other ones, right? Whoop, 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 flip, boom. Right there, obviously. Same with the one in the back. Has to be welded in right here. And that has to be tapped down. Fitment time for the tubs. Stock, what I took out, and then the halves that I had that are aftermarket. Thinner gauge, wah, wah, wah. And oh man, that hole doesn't line up. That hole doesn't line up. That hole doesn't line up. Those two holes don't line up. Let's go over here. Whoa, hey. That one don't. That one does. Yeah, kind of close. Whatever. It's like they purposely build this stuff not to fit. Anyways, my plan, slide this on top of that, mark this, use most of this, because like I said, that's a thicker gauge. And then this piece, wherever this line gets cut, I'm gonna let it overlap into this piece, step this, weld it together. This is, like I said, I'm using this bed, and I'd rather have the strength of a lap weld in case I throw or drop something on top of the tub, it doesn't get dented. If I was doing like car show stuff, I would butt weld these two together, totally smooth, finish both sides, but that's not what I'm doing. I want to be able to always use this truck as a truck. So lap weld, fully welded on the top. I'll put some seam sealer on the bottom where the seam is and roll it. I just have the tub sitting on top of my like filler piece that is already bolted in. I haven't cut anything here. This is actually above the floor pan, but just to show how much I went into the bed for the big wheels. Almost 4 inches. Just shy of 4 inches. 4-inch bigger tubs in the back. The lip is cut. I just used 3/4 inch tape as a guide, so I cut nice and straight. And I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking so far ahead, I don't know how far ahead I'm thinking. I could have just cut this right on the bend, right? Throwed this lip flange out, who cares? But I cut 3/4 in. This would actually be a usable piece. If you're fabbing something, you needed a nice curved 90-degree bend, right? Or who knows? Who knows? I don't even know what I would use it for, but I got the space to hold on to it so I don't have to fab up something down the road. You saw that the other piece, the new piece that I have, I cut from another tub, and I used this part of the tub on a 57 Chevy pickup truck to tub the step side beds, right? And I saved that other piece. It's working out great for me right now. But like I said, man, think ahead. Think ahead. If you got the space to hoard stuff, I say hoard it. Hoard it all. Look at, I'm hoarding this stuff. Original tub bolted in, filler aftermarket piece bolted in. They are overlapping right now, and it's close enough that I can scribe the aftermarket piece and then measure in on this piece from my scribe line to get a cut line, because I'm going to step this piece, overlap this on top of that one, and overlapping it will also help with any kind of lousy fitment issues. Because like I said, that ain't an exact duplication of the original, but we will get it and no one will know the difference. This wheel tub is pretty much ready for the next step. There's a few little spots I want to hit again with the welder, grind it down, but overall, it's where I want it to be. Underside, you can see the stepped flange. Harbor Freight special right here. Flange tool this side and hole punch right here for spot welds. I've had it for several months, and no complaints at all. I will put some seam sealer, SEM 29392, along here to seal it up, waterproof it, right? If you can see here on this piece, you know, I stepped this, obviously, but I put slices on the bends so I could manipulate the metal and get the skin side to sit flush with one another. Driver's side, I have that piece ready to be bolted in. The tub, stock tub that I cut is bolted in. So obviously what I did on that side, I need to do on this side. That is where I'm gonna leave this video. It feels like it's getting really long. I still have a lot to do before this hits the streets. How much? Well, almost a full page. Almost a full page of BS to get this back on the road safely. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing you weekly content on all the projects that are going on in the shop, my stuff, customer stuff, car show stuff,